Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll discuss about Oracle AP period closure and how to do a reconciliation between AP and GL. So generally, in a typical client environment where financial modules are implemented along with your supply chain modules. So this is how you close different modules. Like first you start with the inventory and then followed by payables, purchasing, and then in parallel you can close your FA and AR, and the GL is the last module to be closed. So you close AP and then purchasing. The reason being, once you close your AP, you can generate your accruals in your purchasing module, and then you can proceed with your closing of procurement or your purchasing module. So in a P2P cycle, first you need to close AP and then purchasing. But before you do a period closure, there are a lot of checklist items, so you should ensure that all these items are taken care, and then only you proceed with the AP period closure. So I'll talk about these checklist item in detail. So first thing is ensure that all your AP interfaces are processed. So if you have any other legacy system through which you are processing your your AP invoices, ensure that those interfaces are processed, and ensure that your AP interface tables are clear. If there are any errors, ensure that the errors are corrected and the concerned interfaces are processed, and ensure that your interface table is clear before you proceed with the next step. Uh, and also ensure that if you are using your expenses module, your expense report which are approved and audited are imported into AP. For that you need to run your expense report export program in Oracle. And the next point is ensure that all your invoices are validated and accounted and transferred to GL. If your invoice is not validated, then system will not allow those invoices to be accounted and not transferred to be GL. So ensure that you run your invoice validation program, and once the invoices are validated, run your create accounting program. So there could be some scenarios wherein the user would have picked up your invoice in an invoice workbench, and you would have ran the accounting in a final mode instead of final post. So for those kind of invoices, you need to run your transfer transactions to general ledger program separately, and ensure that all your PPR, your payment process requests, are either confirmed or cancelled. If any of your PPR in a confirming or your formatting or any or in any other in process status, the system will not allow your AP period to be closed. And also if there are any asset related AP invoices, ensure that you run your mass addition process so that those details will be interfaced to your FA module. And also uh, run your subledger exceptions report to ensure that there are no exceptions for the period to be closed. So uh, typically in a real client environment, the subledger period close exception report is run at least once in a day during the last week of your period closure, so that if there are any kind of issues, they are identified in advance and corrective action can be taken. And once you ensure that all these checkpoints are taken care, you can proceed with closing of the period. And if when you are trying to close the period, if there are any exceptions, then system will give you an option to sweep those transactions to the next open period. It's up to us, like you can actually clear those exceptions and then proceed with the period closure, or if you do not want to wait, then you can sweep those transactions to the next period and you can proceed with your period closure. So I'll show you the navigation uh, from where you can close your AP period. Switch to your payables responsibility. So I have a responsible payable supervisor, Reliance Postpaid INR. So as the name itself says that the concerned ledger is Reliance INR ledger, and the operating unit name is Reliance Postpaid INR. Reliance Postpaid. So I have couple of operating units under Reliance INR ledger. you can navigate to any operating unit and then close your uh, period. Basically, in even in subledger similar to your GL, the period closure happens at the ledger level, not at operating unit level. We do not have a concept of period closure at operating unit level. So you can navigate to any of the operating unit linked to that ledger and then close the period. So in the current example, I am logging into payable supervisor Reliance Postpaid INR responsibility, accounting, control payable periods. So here you can see the status of the period. If you click on the drop down, so I'll be closing your August period, and if you click on the drop down, you have an options of closed or open. So once you close the period, system will allow us to reopen the period. Now when I'm trying to close the period, if there are any exceptions, then it will throw an appropriate message, and if there are no exceptions, then system will allow me to close the period. Now let me try to change the status from open to closed. Save this. Here I can see one transaction complete, one record applied and saved. So that means in my current example there is no exception. So everything is proper. Like I had already taken care of all these points, and hence I'm able to close the period successfully. And if I want to reopen, I can just change the status from close to open. Here, once I change the status to closed, I have one more status permanently closed. If I select the status as permanently closed, system will not allow me to reopen the period. So generally, like once your books of accounts are audited, ideally it's suggested by the auditors to change the status from closed to permanently closed, so that nobody can reopen the period. And even if you change the status from closed to permanently closed, then you cannot, system will not even allow us to change the status from permanently closed to open or closed status. And ideally even Oracle also will not recommend, or like will not even provide any kind of a data fix if for some reason if you want to change the status to closed or open. Okay, that's about the period closure. And now coming back to the reconciliation. So generally there are two kinds of reconciliation. One is an internal reconciliation, and another one is the external reconciliation. So when I say internal reconciliation, it's a reconciliation within the module. So now in the current example, I have closed the August period. So one of the internal reconciliation item is I need to run the accounts payable trial balance for the previous period. So in this example, it will be for July. Add current month payables posted invoice register, subtract current month posted payments register, and the balance of that should be equal to your current month AP trial balance. So now I'll show you that I'll run the accounts payable trial balance for July, and then I'll run the payables posted invoice register for August, and then payables posted payment register for August. So I'll add this, subtract this from the previous month accounts payable trial balance, and the balance, the resultant balance should be equal to the balance which is shown the current month AP trial balance. Now let's see. View request, submit new request, accounts payable trial balance, and I want to run as of date of 31st of July last month. Okay, leave all other fields as default. Submit. Here I'll put a formula. July 18 accounts payable trial balance, and then August 18 payables posted invoices register, and then August 18 payables posted payments register. And yeah, so this should be added. We can do that in the formula, and this should be subtracted. Okay, that's completed. So let me open the output. Here you can see this is the balance. So it's basically accounts payable trial balance. So it's basically the balance under the liability account. Here you can see two records because it's based on the supplier. So generally you use one single control liability account for all the uh, vendors. So as far as this particular balance for July is concerned, it is 1656600. 1656600. Okay, so that's July accounts payable trial balance. Now let me run August payables posted invoice register. August. So just say include manual entries from GL, just say no, and order by journal entry batch. That's payables posted invoice register. That's completed. Let's open this. And the balance is $40,000 or like 40,000 INR. And then payables posted payment register. Period August. Include manual journal entry from GL, just say no. Yeah, it's completed. Check the output. Payables posted payment register. The output is 25,000 rupees. 25,000. Now the formula is previous month AP trial balance plus current month payables posted invoice register minus current month payables posted payment register. So this plus this minus this. So now if we run the August AP trial balance, the balance should be 1671600. August AP TB should be this. Okay, now let us run that. 31st of August. Okay, 1671600. Let us check this. 1671600. Okay, so your internal reconciliation is complete. Your previous month APTB, current month posted invoice register minus current month posted payment register is equal to current month AP trial balance. So that completes the internal reconciliation. Now coming back to the external reconciliation. So when I say external reconciliation, it's between Oracle AP and Oracle GL. Now this is the balance lying under your AP liability account. Now we should have exactly the same balance in your GL. Now we can go to the GL accounting query and cross check if we have the exactly same balance. And this is, remember, this is a YTD balance. Switch to general ledger super user Reliance INR, inquiry, account, Reliance INR ledger, August, and what's my code combination? Account 2210, remaining all are zeros. Okay, here you can see 1671600 minus. It is in minus because it's a liability account which shows credit balance, and that's exactly matching with the accounts payable trial balance. So this completes your external reconciliation. That's the reconciliation between your AP and GL. So generally in any client environment, they ensure that your AP trial balance at the end of the month needs to be matched with your GL. If both are not matching, then there is an issue somewhere, and that needs to be fixed before users sign off the month-end reporting. So some of the common reasons which I can think of for the reconciliation issues between your AP and GL is your there could be some scenarios wherein like AP related journal entries are transferred from your AP to GL, but before posting, somebody is actually deleted. I mean, in a real client environment, the journal source for your AP will be frozen and nobody can actually delete that, but there could be some exceptions. Like, so if somebody deletes a journal entry in GL related to AP before it gets posted, then that could lead to a reconciliation issue between your AP and GL. That's one scenario. And the second scenario is your manual journal entries are passed directly in GL using the AP liability account. Generally, the AP liability account or your control account should not be used directly in GL for any kind of a manual entry. But if you try to pass that manual entry, then that will create a reconciliation issue between your AP and GL. Third scenario is AP related transactions are transferred to GL, but they are not yet posted. So you run your create accounting, you said transfer to GL, and you run your create accounting in your AP, but you have selected transfer. You have selected the last option, that is post in GL as no. So that means it is transferred to GL, but it is not yet posted. So that is the one scenario wherein you can see that there is a reconciliation between your AP and GL. And the last scenario which I can think of is the AP related journals are transferred to GL, but for some reason before they are posted, somebody has actually updated amounts. It's a very rare scenario, but for some reason somebody has updated the amount. If you update the amount, then obviously it will create reconciliation between your AP and GL. And there are some scenarios wherein it doesn't tie, that is your AP, TB, and GL accounting query doesn't tie. It could be because some data fix or some other weird weird reason, and in those cases you need to raise an SR with Oracle and try to get a kind of a data fix from Oracle to fix the source, that is to fix your AP. This is how you do a reconciliation between your AP and GL. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video. And in future, I'll try to come up with a similar kind of period closure and reconciliation videos for other subledgers, that is your accounts receivable, your purchasing, inventory, and fixed assets. Thank you. Thanks for watching my video.